So, okay, we have the recording on. So, as you can see, for those of you that may not have any windows in their house, it's snowing pretty good out there. I know I have about 4 inches, and it looks like it's still coming down. Yeah, not quite as hard as it was, but and today's a holiday. So I mean, so think about that. What does that mean to you right now? We got snow on the ground. And it's a holiday. So what are your thoughts on the first thing you hear on that? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Make some calls.
Yeah, absolutely. Make calls because everybody's, so like, so those that have kids that are off school, they're not going nowhere this morning. So people are home and people are going to answer their phone. This is a great day to make calls. Man, I used to salivate over these days. Whoa, somebody, what was that? Hello? Whoever's, you got, so one of the things you got to understand, background noise is picked up by your microphone and then is blasted through the speakers. So it sounded like somebody was playing some kind of wind chimes. So, or they had a weird ringtone, I guess. But anyway, so you have to be real cognizant of minor background noises. They're just loud on the speakers. So, yeah, I would salivate over days like today. Are you kidding me? I'm like, oh, man, hurry up and get down to the road. I would actually, I would be down the office early before any of the traffic, and half the times the roads weren't always plowed yet. But I would just plow, get down there and be ready at 8 o'clock, man. I just started calling because you got more people answering the phone on a day like today than most days. I mean, so I always like snowy days, but when you have a snowy holiday, that's like a bonus to be making calls. I mean, an absolute bonus day to be making calls. So do your best to just get in there, do lead follow up, do any kind of calling, So call through your SOI just to say hi. Hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah. You guys do anything for the holidays? Just call them up. Start talking to them. So anyway. Usually we start off with wins, so let's hear some wins. I forgot to start off with that. Let's hear some wins from last week. Anybody have any wins they want to report?
Can you hear me, Rob?
I can, whoever that was.
It's Robin. Sorry, I didn't know if I'd muted. I was trying to mute it. I had actually I had a crazy week of referrals and almost all from my SOI or my social media, which was really cool.
Right.
So, yeah.
So tell me more. Tell us more. How many referrals did you get?
Well, I had sold a home in Harvard Yale earlier this last year to a physician friend of mine, and now I'm helping his brother-in-law on a buy-sell, and then also they just recruited another doctor from Ohio, so I'm helping them for their relocation.
So that's 3 transactions, 3 doctor transactions.
Right. Well, I mean, hopefully, you never know how things land. They don't have to move. We're exploring.
They're just referrals, right?
Yeah. And then my California people, somebody had posted on a Facebook that I'm a member of from Danville, and somebody posted, hey, does anybody know a realtor? And it was kind of fun because there were several people who said realtors, but then like 3 or 4 people chimed in with my name, and so she reached out. So I'm now helping them with an investment, which is fun.
Right. Sweet.
And then my neighbors behind me, who call me often for real estate questions and design stuff, called me and said, we want to purchase this condo for an investment. Will you help us? So we're working on that, and that should be released in February, and we'll get it under contract. So it's been this really crazy week. It's pretty awesome.
That's 5 potential that's 5 referral sides. Now whether they all pan out, it remains to be seen. But the point is, that's 5 referral sides. That is like, all right. So we should have had you go last because now nobody else wants to follow you.
No, but the point of it is, like, the great thing about it is earlier last year, because I'm still, like, I've been toying around with where do I spend my money. And you and I both know I came to the conclusion I'm throwing tons of money at my SOI. So, like this doctor friend that I had sold to, not only did I get him a great closing gift, they got fall caramel apples from me. They got a big basket for Christmas. And it's just like, you know what? I just feel like, wow, I finally really figured out what works for me. And obviously, what works for me isn't the same for everybody, but for me, my SOI is so key. And it's just like, it's such a perfect example of, okay, I figured out what works for me, and I started like kind of working that, and it's paying in spades so far. So I'm super happy.
Well, I'm so glad to hear, because it's a third-party edification of what I've been preaching from day one. You know, I'm okay with other sources of lead generation once you have maximized, once you have your SOI system in place and like a well-oiled machine and it's been maximized, where in other words, unless you add another 100 people, you're really not going to gain more business out of it. In other words, it's just moving along and the referrals are coming in. Then it's time to go after something else, because and there's nothing better than the referrals. I mean, they're better than, web leads are great in some aspects. However, you're typically competing against 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 agents,
Mm-hmm.
and then which is usually a race to zero on the commission.
Yeah,
So
I think my SOI referrals, I'm at 100%. It's like they just go into the transaction with complete trust in you, and if I
Right.
just do my job, like it usually works. I mean, it's just I love my SOI.
and they usually don't beat you up on the commission. Every once in a while,
No,
you get
never.
one that does.
I never discount my commission ever. So I might spend a ton on listening, but and they don't.
Every once in a while, you'll get one guy that'll want to, And I always just say, well, what do you want? What are you looking for? $250? I mean, so, of course they're looking for $12,000. So anybody else want to share any wins?
Hey, Rob, this is Jesse. I'll share one.
Hey, good morning, Jesse.
Morning. So I started thinking, I pass along a lot of leads to my vendors, and it's time for them to start paying back, since it's a friendship and a business relationship. So I went to one of my lenders and said, hey, I've been providing you a lot of leads. Either provide me leads via the internet and help me pay for campaigns, or provide me something solid. And about 20 minutes later, they called me back with a $500,000 lead, and went and got the contract signed over the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, baby. Gotta love that, huh?
Yeah, it was
Sweet.
awesome, and it was something like I said, it was just a thought, like, hey, I need to get these guys working for me a little bit more.
Right. I mean, and bear in mind, obviously a lender's working maybe with a dozen and 20 agents. They can't give everybody a lead every week, but that doesn't mean they can't give you something. Title's the same way, and Title and anybody you work with, anybody you feed a lot of business to, it can give you leads. But what's the key to that though? What do you think what would you say the key to that whole thing was, Jesse?
Just being confident and asking.
Asking, that's right. Confident is a good, being confident and asking. But asking, even a little lack of confidence, and you still ask, you got a better shot, right? The great Wayne Gretzky, his quote. He has the famous quote that says, "You miss every shot you don't take," or 100% of the shots you don't take. And obviously, his nickname was the Great One. How many people have that nickname, right? So he was signed to a 21-year contract in 1978, and because that's why he wore the number 99. It was up in 1999. But he was like 18 or 19 years old when they got a hold of him. He was so good that a team got a hold of him as a teenager and signed him to a 21-year contract. That's how great he was. He was poetry to watch. But anyway, that was his quote. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, I'd rather get a no than not try at all. If you don't try at all, well, then we know what you're going to get there. So if you want to, you got to talk to somebody. You just need to. So anybody else have any wins? Okay. What about some things you're struggling with? Is anybody struggling with anything? So the things the things that you need to be doing on a routine basis are obviously sending out handwritten cards to some folks, obviously making a few phone calls to some folks, maybe doing some text messages, possibly doing some pop buys, right? Pop by and seeing anybody. Is anybody having any struggles in any of those areas? So no one. Everybody's making their calls. So I'm going to assume that we're going to have like 42 contracts coming in the next few weeks based on the fact that everybody's making their calls. So what about learning? What did you learn? Because that's always a key question. What did you learn?
I learned to just do what I said I'm going to do, and it works.
Imagine that. Right.
Because a lot of times we say we're going to do something, and if we don't actually do it, like it never, like you said, you get 0 points for, 0 baskets.
Right. Yeah, if you don't shoot, I mean, you miss 100% of the shots. Excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, and the key is just do something, right? Just do something. I mean, if you do, nothing and nothing occurs. Do something, something occurs. Do a lot and a lot occurs. Do a lot of great things and a lot of great things occur. It's all about you. And it's the compound effect. I mean, I just read this book called The Compound Effect. I always use the phrase the accumulation effect, right? This is this business, this is a marathon, right? This is a marathon. You got to pace yourself. And then and it's not even like and the marathon isn't about how fast you can run this marathon. This marathon is like the long haul, and it's about how many things you could do on the way, right? So, and you have to be, at a slow enough pace to just go. But it's about consistency, day in and day out, day in and day out. It's an accumulation, right? So, you don't become overweight with one donut. You become overweight from an accumulation of the extra donut. It's accumulation of food. I mean, if you ate bad for a month, I mean, you might gain a pound or two. Nothing super noticeable, But if you ate bad for 2 years, well, yeah, I mean, it's going to show really hard, In the same token, if you're not eating right and you start eating right for 6 months to a year or 2 years, then everybody's going to notice. It's going to have an accumulation effect. Same thing with exercise, right? I mean, you don't go to the gym once for 6 hours and then next thing you know you're in shape. No, it takes years. I mean, it takes months, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. And that's the way, and that's the key to this business. And that's why, I mean, I kind of have a little different twist on the topic every week, but it's the same message every week, and it's the same message every day. But we need to be reminded, and I need to remind myself of this too. I mean, I get bogged down with, things like that. So, and so, and it's also a reminder for myself to make my calls. So, but anyway, so the 3 questions: what did you wins? What did you learn? What are you struggling with? So, anybody? So, how many people here? Let's see. You can send me an instant message. You can send me one just to myself, or you can send one to the whole group. So, how many people here are going to commit to call at least 3 people today? Let's just make a simple commitment. They're home. It's a holiday. They're home. And JC just committed. Let's get some commitments here. People are home today, and because they're off, then they're not going anywhere. I don't know, Charles, is it snowing out where you're at? So I don't know who viewer 3 is, but they commit.
Yes, Rob, it's snowing out here, and I am committed.
Committed. So I mean, committed to calling, not need to be committed, right? I mean, there's a difference, right? I need to be committed sometimes, right? So, little joke there in case.
Yes, committed to calling.
So good. And
I do need to be committed sometimes too, though.
Oh yeah, exactly. So Robin committed. So there's a chat. Are you on your phone, Robin, or are you on a computer? Well, her microphone's muted now. So.
Oh, I'm on both.
So, yeah. So because there's a little chat box on the program we're on, so you don't have to use that. You can use chat box. But that's okay. So that's it. So 3 out of let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 3 out of 9. So that's 33%. Gosh, I'm committed too. Now,
I'm going to commit it myself.
all right.
Oh my
You wanna
gosh,
commit yourself?
Mike.
So y'all need to be committed, but commit. So good. So that's 4 people, and the thing is, like I said, just call 3 people. Call more, but all I'm asking for is a commitment of 3. Right? If you can make 3 calls, who can't make 3 calls? Come on. Always, you know what I say about that. If you can't make 3 calls, then I want a 1,500-word essay explaining it. Don't forget to try the 3 text messages too, and then send out 3 handwritten cards. What else are you gonna do? You're gonna go out and shovel, unless you got somebody shovels for you. But if not, so you might as well. Richard's committed, and so there's 5. All right, so we got half. So
I'm committed as well. It's just that my buttons weren't working.
oh, okay. So Mary's committed. So 6 out of 9. Love it. 2/3.
Hey, Rob, Jesse's committed as well. Sorry.
7. So yeah, good job, man. So anyway, like I said today, don't miss this opportunity. It's you'll see, hanging out with me, you'll see things that you've always looked at. You'll just look at them from slightly different angles. How many people think of a snowy holiday as I'm like, when I was a prospecting agent, I was like so excited. I was outside. I was ready I'm leaving the house at like 6:45. I'm driving down to the office at 6:30, 6:45. Gave myself, because I wanted to get on the road. And I lived uptown, and I had to drive down to Highland Drive, 64th and Highland, and I would be there. There hardly any plowing. Driving and behind the plow trucks or whatever, getting to the office super early, and I had all my phone numbers ready, man. And at 8 o'clock, I had 2 phones on, and I'd have a list of maybe a couple hundred people, and I just started calling. Man, I jumped up and down. And then a snowy holiday, my gosh, you couldn't get any better than that. So anyway, that's all I got. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, concerns that they'd like to discuss? Maybe? No? Good day to call expireds too, because they're home. They're home and they're not going anywhere. So anyway, that's all I have for today then. Unless anybody has any questions or anything, I'm going to go ahead and end the call. So going once, going twice, sold. We're going to end the meeting. All right, have a good day, guys. See you at 10.
Thank you, Rob.
We have the 10 o'clock call. That's a productive agent class series on leads and lead follow-up. So if you want to learn more about leads and lead follow-up, then join us at 10 o'clock. All right, see you guys.
Thank you.